Awesome. All right, I think we are recording then. Hey, everybody, welcome to our Real Producers Roundtable. The vibe of these calls is super casual, so don't feel like you have to be uber professional. Shelly is clearly joining us from Hawaii, so I'm just kidding. Hey, the goal of Real Producers is to blur the lines between the personal and professional. We believe that that is really how the top tier professionals in the real estate industry get to know each other as real humans and build deeper connections and work together for the next 30 years, as you guys are the ones leading the real estate community in Sacramento. So we just want to provide opportunities and ways that, oh, look, we're going to join one more person here. Opportunities and ways for you guys to do that. I think Erin Barton is coming on here. Yes, she is. Hold on, let's see if we can see her. Hey, Erin, you are joining us. We are already recording, so we're going to jump right in, but I'm just sharing with everybody that the goal of these is to get a chance to just come together from all different perspectives. All of you work and maybe even are central in different regions, Sacramento, El Dorado Hills, Placer County. You all represent different brokerages and different professions, lending, title. So I'm going to give you a chance first and foremost to go around and introduce yourselves. I'll call you out because I don't know what order everybody popped up on everybody else's screen, but on mine, we've got Shelly up here at the top. If you guys can just really quickly go through it, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us who you work with and what you do, and maybe how long you have been in this industry. Go ahead, Shelly.
Okay, so I'm Shelly Gattenbein, and I'm with First American Title, and I've been in the title and escrow industry for 28 years. So it's pretty much my whole professional career. I understand all aspects of the business, the lending side, the real estate side, the escrow title side, of course, because that's all I've ever done. And I pretty much work the whole Tri-County area because I mostly work by appointments because most of the clients I work with, I do consulting for. And as you know, being in the business for almost 30 years, you have clients that have moved all over. So clients stay with you. It's a relationship driven business. And when you call somebody, you want to get them on the phone. So, and I recognize all your names.
Awesome.
And thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you're on. All right, we'll come over to Val over there on my left-hand side.
Hi, Val Turner. I am with Turner DeMarco plus Friedman. Gail DeMarco and Jay Friedman are my two awesome partners. And we are a team in El Dorado Hills and Roseville and Granite Bay, technically, with eXp Realty. Been doing this a really long time. I got licensed in 2012 and have just been having the time of my life.
Awesome. All right, down to Krista.
Hello, Krista Proctor, and I'm with Krista Proctor and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. And I've been licensed since 2013, and it's something I really enjoy, helping people move forward in life. And a lot of times that is part of that piece in their life is the purchase or sale of real estate. So it's been very rewarding, and I love all the people in this industry that I've gotten to work with. It's been great.
Awesome. Thanks, Krista. Okay, Scott, over to you.
All right. So I'm Scott Ostrode. I've been selling houses since 1998. So Shelly, you got me by a couple of years, but not by many. I work for Keller Williams. I've got an office in El Dorado Hills, Sacramento, and Roseville. I'm supported by a fantastic team of agents and supporting the back office. And my role nowadays is more about helping our agents, our clients live big lives.
I love it. All right, over to you, Patty.
Hi. My name is Patty Goodspeed. I've been a mortgage banker for 20 years. My office is on Douglas Boulevard. Just have a small suite here now since no one on earth wants to ever come into an office anymore. I was recognized as one of the top 100 female women originators in the country. I'm really proud of that. So I wanted to share that with you guys in terms of my, who I am. And I'm a senior vice president at cross country. I'm a sole producer, but they give you a different title when you run a branch. It really doesn't mean anything. So I'm just like on my own little island here. Very excited to meet you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, down to you, John.
I'm John Martin. I have been with Lion my entire career, which will be 29 years in October. Can't believe it, but I have seen most of your names before, and I'm excited to have this video conference with you.
Yeah, I think John has us all beat as far as the decades.
But I started when I was 12.
I'm gonna just pause for a second because John has been with Lion his entire career and his mom with Lion even prior to that. So I love his loyalty and his story in that. So anyway, okay, over to you, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen Azevedo. I work with HomeLight. I'm the Sacramento Region Strategic Relationships Manager. So I get to choose which agents that we partner with and offer our tools to help them just make their clients more competitive, help solve problems for buyers and sellers. So I've been in the business for about 3.5 years with a marketing background and PR background before that. So kind of a little overlap in the industries since a lot of my agent partners definitely need help with marketing. So
Yeah.
Thanks for including me in today's meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Erin.
Hello there. I'm Erin Barton. I'm with First American Title. I'm the regional sales manager for our region. So I cover a lot of ground, but I work with our sales reps and directly with the real estate community to just bring more business into our company and help everybody grow their business and get more deals in the door. So thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we have a ton of wisdom and experience and ability to observe in the room. So I think that one of the most powerful things about getting so many minds in one space is that you kind of channel the collective wisdom just by talking to each other, just by sharing what you're seeing and sharing your experiences. We walk away after 30 minutes spent together, filled up from that extra observations, extra wisdom and knowledge. And so my hope is that even if there's just one takeaway that you grab from somebody that's just encouraging to you about feeling, less alone in this industry, or if there's one tip that you're then going to implement in your business this week, that it will have been a valuable 30 to 40 minutes spent. So that's our goal. Take notes, offer yourselves, and we'll all walk away a little bit better at the end of this. So I want to kick it off to you guys now as far as talking about and asking you what you are seeing right now. Obviously, some of you have spent decades in this industry, so you have seen the market do all sorts of shifts and turns and different things. I think there is a lot of buzz right now that people are saying, oh, is it shifting? Has it shifted? Is there, what's going on? I will tell you, one of the things that I'd love to ask our realtors here that I observe in my interviews is, even though there's a lot of talk out there on social media of maybe some nervousness, what I am finding amongst at least the real producers community is that they're busier than ever. That I have a ton of the top 500 that are saying, well, no, for me, this is actually crazy busy. I've never been so busy. My phone doesn't stop ringing because nobody is asking their sister-in-law to sell their house anymore. They're calling me again. So I don't know if that is some of your experience, but that is an observation that I have been seeing. So I'm going to turn it over to you and tell me what you guys think.
I like that you said that. I don't remember which app it is. It's probably realtor.com, where you log in and it pops up a little question on your screen that says, how are you feeling about the market? Are you feeling optimistic or are you feeling pessimistic? You guys all know which one I'm talking about? And so you have to make a selection, and I always choose optimistic. I'm always optimistic about the market. I think that those of us who become pessimistic about the marketplace can be in a whirlwind of trouble if we allow our minds and our mindsets to travel there. And to your point, Katie, yes, I would agree. I think that those of us that have tenure and those of us who are maybe team leads or who are experienced are probably busier than ever. I know that's the case for me. Not everybody on my team, though, so I'll touch on that. But me personally, I've got 15 listings between what's on the market, what's pending, and what's coming soon on the market. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but like you just said, those who were not experienced. They were the sister-in-law, the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, or what have you, who just had a credential. They just owned a real estate license. Those are the people who are unfortunately going to suffer from this market, which opens up this wide open playing field of opportunity for those of us who are skilled and experienced. Because, you know, people need actual experience and skill in a market like this to sell a house. It's not, you know, pop it on Instagram on Friday and by Monday it's sold with 7 offers like it was for so long. Another thing that we're really starting to see is, and it's not like a glorified moment, it's kind of like one of those frustrating moments, is the second agent syndrome is back, right? You know, where you had a listing that was listed with somebody for 30 or 45 days before and it's not sold. Well, we know that it might have been the lull of the summer market. It may have just been that nobody was around in July because the world opened up again. So everybody went on vacation with their family and they weren't focused on buying homes in July. But the sellers don't know that. The sellers just know that they've had their house listed for 45 days and it hasn't sold. So they're firing their agent. They're calling us. They're calling the next guy to come in and show better experience, better skills, and list it for them. So for those of us who have agents that are hurting, I mean, watching those canceled, watching those expired listings come back on again, which was not a thing for so long. Sorry, that was a lot.
Oh, that was good.
That's good.
That's real good. Yeah.
Just a simple question, optimistic or pessimistic, Val? You just kept going. It's good.
All right, it's the Disney in me, Scott.
You hit on something in there that I think was, well, a couple of things that were spot on, but one in particular was that we've moved ourselves into a skill-based market. And that's what, to me, is the most exciting part, is we get to let our skills shine once again, as compared to just taking a list and getting a paycheck in 30 days. And so when markets shift, when things get more difficult, when the days on the market increase, when there's more price reductions and more cancellations, those people that are skill-based have an opportunity to pick up market share. And if you gain market share in a shift, you don't ever have to give it back.
I agree with Scott 100%. And, you know, skill-based business is always going to win. And one of the things about working in the title industry is, and I think I've really strived my whole career, is talking to my escrow staff. You know, I don't know what they're doing. I know they're in there closing escrows, but asking questions, you know, like, what are you seeing going on your escrows? What's happening? Because escrow sees everything 30 to 60 days before the street sees it. So we see when escrows start falling out, we see price increases. We see all of a sudden the buyer paying all the title and escrow closing fees. And so in preparing for this meeting, you know, I went around to my staff and I said, hey, what are you guys seeing that's changing since, you know, July? In July, everything just kind of shut off for us and cancellations were happening. And 2 big things came across about 4 different of my escrow officers. Kelly Ames in my Sierra Oaks office was telling me that the sellers, they're not, you know, ask your sellers about forbearances. Is anybody even talking about that word right now? You know, when you go on a listing presentation, because what happened during COVID was the sellers stopped paying their house payment, and they think that Biden just magically is releasing this money. And so they'll call escrow and they'll say, hey, I need to get a net sheet. And my escrow officer will say, well, what do they owe on it? And they'll say, well, you know, let's do it with a $121,000 payoff. And they go on the listing presentation, they present this net sheet, and the seller thinks they're getting $70K. And nothing's been brought up about the forbearance or not paying during COVID. And then they get it into escrow with a buyer. So you guys have done all the work, you get the listing, you got it into contract, and then we pull the prelim, and the prelim's coming back with what we're calling now a silent second. And it's that forbearance money. And, you know, this one case I'll talk on, the seller didn't pay their house payment for 17 months. So now we had almost 70K, or no, it was 17,000, I'm sorry, in forbearance money that was a silent second. So when you have to now go back to that seller and tell him that the net's going to be completely different, you know, we're losing escrows because of this. So, you know, when you're out on those listing presentations, ask, you know, did you guys have any forbearance? You know, it's just something really important, because what the seller perceives is different from what we perceive. And they think it was free money and it's just going to go away. but the lenders are saying no, and they're adding it as a silent second. So either do the research on the front end of your listing appointment. I do it for all my top agents. I do what we call like a mini prelim, where I'll give you the liens, the judgments, I run the name. So you have all that information going in. I know I talk too much too, but it's important to know that. So that was kind of my spin. And I have another one on there too.
That's
I
a
think
really cool-
that's really valuable, and it kind of like lends itself to that whole conversation about, in this market, setting seller expectations.
Mhm.
And, I no longer, I don't think I've ever been one to say, hey, you'll get XYZ for your house, because even when the market was climbing, we didn't know what they would get. It was shocking that they'd get sometimes 100,000 more than the trend was, and now it's 100,000 less than the trend is. So I always let my sellers know, we really don't know what you'll get, but so setting the expectations, because I was so funny, who said, was it Scott or somebody was talking about the second realtor syndrome?
Yeah.
I heard somebody once say, you want to be someone's first kiss, second spouse, and third realtor. I thought that was so funny. So I'm like, how do I avoid, being the realtor that got fired? And so I always try and really give such a broad picture of outcomes and what will happen what will you do if your house doesn't sell? I always ask that question. And it just kind of helps the seller take ownership of their own sale. And that, we're not like magicians. We can interpret the market and help them understand the market, but we can't control the market. And just all of those things, I think the conversations are getting much more intimate with sellers, because, down to the real motivation of why. I mean, it's always important to know the motivation, but now it's really drilling down. Somebody like Val was saying, our skills in psychology, all those things, all those conversations are so, so important. But I was also thinking about, because I have a lot of newer agents on my team, and, I look at, is it Jim? I'm sorry, Jim, I can't see your first name in your
John.
John. Okay. John and Scott, like, I'm super interested what they would have to say, because like with newer agents, what I've noticed is, as they're increasing their level of lead generation activity, even though they lack the experience and the knowledge of how to navigate all those conversations, just sheer effort alone is reaping so many results right now. So many results. Like the open houses, we're having more and more traffic, and buyers coming in who have no agent and they haven't talked to a lender. So that's been exciting and encouraging even for newer agents. I just think that opportunity is everywhere.
I think you're spot on. I think the opportunity is everywhere. You just have to be willing to put in the work to get it. And I love that you shared that story about the open houses, because that's just it. Open houses work. They truly do. I love the story of the agent that did an open house and nobody showed up. So that means open houses don't work. So they never did an open house ever again. Reality is, if you do the right activities over time, you'll have the results. You just can't judge it based upon one open house or dialing session or one door knocking session.
Yeah, very well said. Open houses we all know they're hit and miss. So you just never know what's going to happen when you go to one. So.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting. And I like, for some of you who have seen multiple decades in the real estate industry, I'm just curious, I literally have sat on a Real Producers Roundtable conversation in these same Zoom squares in the midst of 2020, having a conversation about how open houses have been changed forever. They're never happening anymore. Now we can't do them. We're going to move on without them. And then we're going to find that we never needed them to begin with. And it's just so interesting. That was, within the life of this magazine and community that is only 2.5, 3 years old. So I just think it's interesting how many changes and shifts and ups and downs that you can see and think, oh, it's now this way and it will be forever. And then it's this way and it will be forever, people can get really panicky about like something's changed and that just means everything, you know, for sure is going to be awesome forever or terrible again forever. And it just seems like some that have the benefit of having weathered decades in this industry maybe have a little bit of a more calm sense of stay the course, make slight adjustments, be smart, and, you know, nothing is really ever that long of a seasonal shift. I don't know. I'm curious. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I think you're spot on that. When you know, we think of forever, like what is forever? What is 24 months? What is 36 months? That is a blip when we look at an industry life cycle or we look at a career life cycle. I mean, 3 years has come and gone and flown like this. And real estate, I mean, how blessed are we that real estate is one of the most, if not the most tangible thing that people will always need. People will always need food. They will always need shelter, and they will always need income. They will always need a resource. And so to be able to be a provider or a facilitator in an industry that is you can't phase it out. I mean, regardless of what people say with these iBuyer programs and everything go online and technology is going to take over all of our positions, we still serve a tangible industry. So there's always going to be opportunity. It's how we choose to acclimate, where we choose to divert, where we choose to grow, where you choose to get uncomfortable. I mean, with this market shift, people are asking me a lot, like, how do you have listings or how are you serving buyers? Well, they're definitely not the same buyers I was serving for the last 24 months. Last 24 months, I was serving the hobby buyer from the Bay Area who thought it was really cool because they had all this money in their tech stock. Let's go buy an extra house with a lake view in El Dorado Hills, or maybe Bay. Those aren't the buyers I'm serving anymore. You know, my whole market has shifted and now I'm serving investors again. And that's what I kind of told a lot of our agents about 2 months ago. I said, get ready, because the second there's a market shift, you have these hedge funds, you have these multi-million-dollar investors and these rookie investors. I mean, the people who work for Intel here in Folsom are some of my largest investor clients. I've served them since I got licensed in 2012. They own 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 properties in Folsom, Rockland, Lincoln, wherever. Those are the people that are buying. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was hurting or if I was an agent who was a little bit worried about my income this year, I'm going to shift. I'm going to move where there's opportunity. I don't care if it's not a 1.1 or $1.5 million lake house with a view that I'm selling to the Bay Area buyer. But if I can pick up 2 investor buyers and still sell $1.2 or $1.4 million in investment property, and then get referred to their next 3 buddies that work with them, that's a lucrative market. And so that's a shift that I'm going to put myself in a position to acclimate to. And it's really where I'm kind of trying to teach a lot of our agents. A lot of our agents have never served investment before. And they're like, I don't even know what a cap rate is. And I don't know how to calculate rents. And I don't know these resources. And so just really thinking from our standpoint, like, you know, some of us are team leads and we've got people below us that are counting on that experience and that advice and that direction and that guidance. Like, what do I do? Where do I get my leads from? Hell, reach out to 5 people that you sold a $900,000 home to or a $700,000 home to 2 years ago. That house is worth 1.6. Ask them if they want to get a HELOC and buy a rental property. Boom, now you've got a new client tomorrow. So just reminding people that are fear-based and worried that they don't have their constant drip of business that was, and remind them how to go look for the today buyer. Who's the today buyer or who's the today seller? Unfortunately, our market right now is heavily affected by death, divorce, and the downsizers, the forced downsizers. You know, everybody that I'm serving on my sellers list has a very, very big circumstance or a big situation: dementia, mom died, dad has to move in with them, divorce, paralyzed child, like you name it. It's like big life heavy stuff. And so just really realizing that the opportunity is the same. There's the same opportunity for everybody to go get the same number of buyers and the same number of sellers. It's where you're looking for them that has completely changed.
And I did that 14 years ago in 2008. You know, the title companies locked the REO business up in corporate. So if anybody did REO business here locally, you were doing your title and escrow down south. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have no clients. Warren Adams, you know, all your traditional REO people couldn't do business here locally. So I went and learned that investment business that Val's talking about, and I ran the courthouse sales. And I did more transactions during that down market of 2008 to 2014 than I did in this last, you know, up cycle, meaning volume transactions. And so locally, I'm the rep here for Invitation Homes. And those are, we acquired 55,000 homes in Northern California that are all rentals. Well, they're selling off some of that portfolio now. So it's opportunities for other people, investors, to come in and buy those properties. There's just so many opportunities out there. You just have to know how to tweak your business a little bit and go look for something a little bit different and have a new plan.
Totally.
Yeah, and teaching agents that, how to go find the off market. I had clients complain to me that, oh, I don't have any business, I can't find listings. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Because all my other people have listings. You've got to go out and find them, and so I was teaching people how to go find off-market listings, stuff that's not in the MLS. Go make your own market if it's not there for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's good. Patty, there's all sorts of talk about rates. What can you bring to the table with all of the, panic over rates are so high right now, even though they're not as high as they have been in
Well, I think that's the first response a lot of people give when they talk about high interest rates. You have people that say, well, it's not like we're in an 8% range, right? It's not uncharted territories. I remember we were, after the 2007 and 8 crash, we were locking loans in between 5 and 6%, 6.5%. So it's not an abnormal number for us on the loan side. But usually people's first reaction to it is, these aren't so bad. I think the problem is that the price of houses are still so high, and that you have this issue where the average American right now is spending and $460 more a month on groceries and gas with the same amount of consumption. And then they have mortgage payments that are going to be on average in the Sacramento region between $550 to $850 higher as a result of the interest rate for the price points that they're shopping in. So they have to really make a decision about, can I afford to spend an extra $1,200 a month when my income hasn't gone up? So I think what we are suffering from right now is a lot of, people say, is the market crashing? I said, no, we're contracting. It's a contraction, not a crash. It's correcting itself. What's happening is that the feds have to tighten the money supply in order to get this inflation number under control. The inflation number is at 8.5% now, down from 9.1. But I think that people need to really grasp the fact that the goal for the feds is to get the inflation rate to 2%. So we have a long road ahead of us to get from 8.5 to 2% to see any sort of interest rate dropping. They are, and when I say interest rate dropping in that particular context, I'm referring to the Fed funds rate, which they've alluded to not happening until at least 2024. So you can expect that you're going to see a Fed hike rate again. Whether it's 50, I don't think it's going to be another 75 basis points, but it's definitely should be at least a minimum of 50, because by tightening the money supply, that's how they were able to, it's almost like being on the freeway and, when you're driving, instead of, if someone cuts you off, your instinct might be to slam the foot on the brake instead of taking your foot off the gas. So the issue is everyone is now with higher rates going, oh my God, I'm slamming my foot on the brakes. So they didn't just take their foot off the gas. The buyers are putting, slamming their foot on the brake. So what does that mean? We have 75 to 80% less offers. We have less buyers coming to the table. And a lot of them might still be qualified, but they're sitting on the sidelines because they're digesting this news. So what I think is going to happen with the interest rate is they will go down. But they're going to go down. Mainly the numbers to watch is going to be how the inflation rate responds to what the Fed is doing. There's this nice chart that I share in a webinar that I do on a monthly basis that shows, since over the past several decades, in situations where the Fed had to respond to a higher inflation rate by hiking the Fed funds rate, what the impact was. The trend that you're looking for is to see that the actions that the government is taking is going to result in a lower inflation rate. And when you see that, rates will go down. So everything I've talked about with the agents, my partners, and everything is to get on the phone with your buyers, be the agent that's super proactive, and you're talking about this. We all know this. I think, Shelley, I think you're extremely knowledgeable since from what I've heard you say about just remembering these trends. We get the buyers excited and say that These downturns, they last a lot shorter than the runs do. The runs are much longer than the downturns. So you have this window of opportunity to go place an offer on your terms. You didn't have that opportunity 8 months ago. You couldn't ask for a seller credit 8 months ago. You had to write a premium check to win your bid 8 months ago, just 8 months ago. How soon we forget. So buyers should be extremely excited about being able to write an offer on their terms. We are in the winter, so we don't know if it's going to get any worse before it gets any better, but I would say that we believe on the lending side that interest rates have peaked and that inflation has peaked. Now we have mixed signals. Like, for example, the Fed will continue to say things like the job market is strong. How could we be in a recession with a strong job market? So according to the data, we have 2 jobs available for every eligible person in the workforce. So I keep joking and saying that's like dating someone and the economy is giving you mixed signals. How are you saying that we're in a recession and we also have a very strong job economy? So watch to see what happens with the jobs, because if you hear news that the unemployment rate is going up, in addition to the inflation numbers not like drastically decreasing, you're going to see interest rates drop. So that's another reason why. So the combination of interest rates being lower and prices continuing to drop because income is not abundant, those are the kind of markers that we're looking for in the news. And again, I guess the takeaway from that is interest rates will go down again. They're not going to go back into the 2% range. We're not going to see that happen. It's unrealistic. That was a response to a global COVID crisis. And I remember it was on a Sunday where Trump was on the news making that call and urging the feds to drop the rates. And we went below zero and all, hell broke loose and every single person you knew wanted to buy a house. That was a unique circumstance. So we're not going to get that low again. But even if interest rates were to go down by a whole percentage or even 0.5%, that sort of news should be able to excite buyers to get off the sidelines and start making those offers. So I do think interest rates will go down. We believe that it would be sometime between spring and summer of next year. But the main thing to focus on is that inflation number. When you hear the rate go, if they're trying to go from 8.5 to 2%, there's a lot more work to do. And you're going to see news of the Fed rate hike. And all of your clients are always nervous when they see that because they directly correlate that to mortgage rates, which is incorrect. The Fed rate hike is not directly correlated to the mortgage interest rate. But when the clients hear that news, that's what's making them stay back and get scared about buying because they think rates are just going to keep going up. And that's what they think would lead to a crash, where it's really just a basic contraction, which is happening by design. So interest rates will go down. And I think that would happen within the next 18 months for sure. And then hopefully that'll spark up some demand and get more offers on some of your listings. So hopefully that was helpful. But right now the average 30-year fix is just about 6% at 5.95%. That's not on jumbo loans. And I think the Sacramento market has the blessing of being able to see the home prices rise to the point where a lot of well-qualified buyers can take a jumbo loan instead of a conventional loan. So a lot of the brokers, the lenders that are brokers that are like, hey, we're going to close in 10 days. There's an appraisal waiver. You don't have those benefits with a jumbo loan. The client has to be a little bit more qualified. They can still get an interest rate in the low 5s and possibly under 5% on a 30-year fix if they qualify for jumbo financing. Jumbo financing in this market just means that the loan amount is above 6.75%. I'm sorry, that the loan amount is higher than $675,000. That's the limit in these areas. So some things to consider when you're looking at the client and what price point that they're buying, what their down payment is, how well qualified they are. Interest rate for them doesn't need to be in the 6% range or close to 6%. So interest rates are still very good. And the message to our community is that with interest rates being higher and you having the opportunity to place the offer on your terms, there's a small window of opportunity for that. So let's get excited and do it, and then you can refinance when the interest rate goes down. Many listing agents are using an incentive for seller credits to help buy down the interest rate to attract more buyers. And this is good, but from a lending perspective, my conservative hat is always like, hey guys, there's a better way to spend that money. Lower the price or use it towards your closing costs, because when you refinance in 6 to 8 months or within the next 12 months, you're really not saving much. You could have just lowered the price or saved the money for your closing costs. So I educate the clients on that and let them use the seller's money however they might want to do it. It's still a great marketing tool to drive more people to your listings. So hopefully that was helpful.
Very, thank you for
advice.
sharing that.
Yeah.
And
Agent-
speaking of locking your stuff up in escrow with loans, pre-qual letters, that was another thing my escrow officer said. And most of you guys are listing agents, make sure that when you're accepting that buyer offer, that you're looking at that pre-qual letter, because some of these letters are outdated and they're coming into escrow. And Kelly had 3 files this last month get canceled because they couldn't get a loan. They were qualified, but it was 3 months ago. They got in and they actually switched from an FHA to a conventional during the middle of the escrow. So it just looks bad for everybody. So just make sure you get updated pre-qual letters.
Absolutely good advice.
I think I'm going to take a little bit of a different tack on this, is that I don't think it's going to be a really hard battle still for this period right now to win on rates. Someone shared with me, I saw this last week, you know what the most powerful question in real estate is? The most powerful question to ask your buyer is why? Why are you buying now? Why is right now the time? Why is that house important to you? Why is the extra bedroom? Why is the school district? Why? And if you really can get to the heart of the why behind it, then the rate becomes secondary.
Yeah. And
People
that's the spot. My cousin just bought a house and she had no business buying a house, but they got notice given in the rental, and they've got 3 kids under 5. They didn't want to move again. So they ended up going up to rescue, and they had to buy in a high market.
Yeah, I think, Val, what you're sharing is that with your clients, they have a big why on why they're selling, right? Life, all those different things that are happening. It's the same thing on the buy side, is that those people that were interested in real estate are no longer interested. Now it's the people that have to make a decision. Something has changed in their life that is prompting a buy, that's prompting a sale. And it's our responsibility to be so much more relationally based than transactionally based to find out the why that's propelling this decision right now at this time of their life.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Good
agree with
advice.
that. I think that's a really solid point. In several of these sort of calls I've had with my teams, we talk about that everyone wants to know, Patty, what do you say to people that say they don't want to buy right now or they can't buy right now? We say, okay, encourage them not to. You don't know their pocketbook. So along the lines of why I think it's important sometimes, where that conversation came from in other circles was that a lot of people on like the social media live groups, we have a 65,000 member club on Clubhouse. They're all asking, why does every real estate agent say now is the best time to buy? They were saying it then, they're saying it now. So I think that really positions you as someone who cares about them and separates you from the pack when you ask them why. You're asking them to challenge the very action that puts a commission in your pocket. And it really helps to build credibility and helps to make sure that you're guiding them to make the best decision. Because there is a consensus out there that's like, hey, why does the agent always say now is a good time to buy? So that's a great point.
Yeah, and to all of your points, I mean, it's so much about communication. You know, that's the things that I'm hearing is about communication. It's about servicing your client. It's about finding out what they need. And even on the title and escrow side of things, that's what we're looking to do. You know, the last couple of years have been great for everybody's business, right? Everybody's been just crazy busy and volume has been super high, and it's been easy in a way because the deals are just coming in. And now it changes to, what does that skill level look like? How do we communicate with our clients? How do we help them understand what's going on in the market with rates? Is it a good time? You know, that communication piece is such a big piece. But for us on the title and escrow side, like, what does service look like right now on title and escrow side? Definitely different than it looks like in 2020, right? When we were screaming busy, like everybody was. So this is an opportunity, this time in the market, for us to really communicate well with our clients, raise the level of service. That's really what you guys are all talking about too, is raising that level of service, especially for us on title and escrow. We're able to raise the level of service and control how we're giving service to our clients as well. So that's also a key point that I'm kind of hearing, like, in different ways from all of you. So I think that that's really, really good to hear.
Awesome.
You know, and everybody's super optimistic, right, about where we're at, because everybody has skill here. Everybody has that skill level of being here in the business for, 20, 25 years, 30 years. So those are the people that will push through this market and get deals done.
Yeah. On that note, I want to start to wrap us up. We're not going to go right into our Fast Five quite yet, but I did want to throw out a question. Not everybody has to answer, but I'd love to hear from most of you. Just focusing in on like loving your job and loving your life. Like, what is something that's important for you right now? A practice, a habit, something that you're doing in your daily work life that is keeping you going, keeping you motivated, reminding you why you love your job. What's something that's important to you right now in your kind of workspace that is motivating and keeping you going?
I think for me, holding the hands of my younger employees that haven't been through this cycle, you know, they're hearing lenders laying off people, the title industry's been cutting back in different departments. And, you know, it's scary. You know, a lot of these people have bought in their first house. They've had young kids. We were all there once, you know, I was there in 2008 when the market crashed going, what's going on? So just holding their hands and letting them know that, you know, we just get up every day, we put our pants on, we come to work, we give the service like Erin was talking about, reach out, call your customers. Don't just email them. You know, you've got some time now to talk to people, to get to know them. Go do the lunches that you couldn't do before because you were so busy. So just giving advice that we got that advice from somebody when we were younger. So that's kind of where I'm getting some happiness right now.
Pay it forward a little.
Yeah.
I love that.
I agree with that completely. It's more hand holding than ever before, especially with sellers, because as we all know, it doesn't sell in the first weekend. So we have to stay in touch with them, like at least every other day. They want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on. And everybody's hit some really good points on buyers now. I think it's a wonderful time. And you said, we always say it's a good time to buy, but you do get to kind of write your own terms now as we didn't before. You know, 8 months ago, there were some people, in my opinion, that were way overpaying for some houses, but they don't have to do that today. And as you mentioned, then they can refinance if the rates go back down. A lot of people are afraid we're going to hit this crazy REO cycle like we did before. And I just say it is not coming. I don't know what you guys think about that. I'd love to hear your opinion, but I don't see this market hitting anywhere close to what we did last time in REOs.
Ryan Lundquist, you know, I talk to him quite a bit because I do a lot of stuff on statistics and numbers. Sacramento County, well, the Tri-County area back in 2008 had 16,000 listings. Currently, I think we're at 4. So until so we're not going to get it. And there's too much equity in these homes. We have seen some people that are in a notice of default position when they come into escrow because they don't tell the listing agent that they haven't paid the payment, but they're walking out of escrow with $200K and a check in equity. So until that inventory gets back up around 8,000, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
And I just don't see it happening. Like you said, there's too much equity in people's homes right now.
Well, and there's not enough inventory. We don't, that when 16,000 homes, you could buy a house for the price of a car. I mean, that's when we would drive down the street and there were, you know, 10 houses for sale on the same street. And that's when all the investors were buying, you know, it's.
And the new home builders quit building.
It's a different market.
One thing I've been doing is I've been taking this time to, like, I guess, up my own game and just stay coachable and humble. And what more can I learn during this time where it's not a frenzy every single day, where it's a pressure cooker, you know, everybody needs a response like instantly. So doing that. And then I think the opportunity to reteach that same, as I'm learning, reteach it to someone, whether that's to my team at our meetings or just one-on-one with another agent. And I've noticed that lately, it seems like the listings I have, I've got new agents on the other side of the deal. And even if they're not, you know, in my brokerage or anything, just being a helper to them and just trying to just be helpful, you know. And so that, but I think learning and then reteaching, that helps keep me inspired.
All right. That's good. Anyone else before we go into our Fast 5 round robin? Okay, I'm excited to do this with you because so many of you are newbies to this. For those watching, we always wrap up our calls with something we call the Fast 5. It has nothing to do with work or industry. I have not prepped anybody with these questions and they are not incriminating, I promise. So they're just silly and tell us the first thing that comes to mind when I ask, and we'll hopefully at the end of it know each other a little bit better. So keep in mind, I'm going to say the order that we're going to go right now and just listen to the name that is in front of you. So we'll start with Shelly. Patty, you will go next after Shelly. John, you will go after Patty. Jen, you will go after John. Scott, you will go after Jen. Val, you will go after Scott. Krista, you will go after Val. And Aaron, you will go after Krista. And then Shelly, you'll go after Aaron again. All right, everybody know who you're going after? You're not supposed to spend a lot of time thinking, just tell me quickly because we got to get through this.
I think I'm going after Jen. Is that right?
No, Krista, you're after Val.
Okay.
Who am I after again? I heard Shelly.
Here, I'll say it one more time. Shelly, Patty, John, Jen, Scott, Val, Krista, Aaron, back to Shelly. Good?
Okay. Ready.
All right. This is the big test. I'm just kidding.
I think
All right. I'm
going-
gonna
Don't mess it up, you guys.
I'm gonna start you off really simple. Snow or sand? Go ahead, Shelly.
Sand.
No.
Sand. Sure.
Sand.
And
No.
Sand.
All right. I missed John's. He cut out. What did you say, John?
I thought I was after Patty,
You are after Patty.
so sand.
Yeah,
Sand. All right. Best binge watching show you're watching right now? Shelly,
Ozark.
Patty,
Succession.
John,
Yellowstone.
Bosch.
I've already watched all of that. Right. Watching MasterChef.
nice.
Yes.
Lock and Key.
Ooh, what's that?
Good one. It's on Netflix.
I'm writing it
Put that down.
Great.
These are all really good. Treadstone is my most recent.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna do Yellowstone.
as a Yellowstone.
I love
Yellowstone and
Yellowstone.
1865. or
Mhm.
Seen
19,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that was good. That was good.
So good. All right, you can only eat one kind of food for the entire month. What is it? Shelly.
Tacos.
Vegetables.
Whoa.
I know, I like them.
Nice. John.
I've only got one. I'm gonna go with eggs.
Thanks. That's good.
Tacos also.
I'm gonna go trail mix.
Noodles.
Yum.
Any kind.
So I was thinking genre, but is it just one item? Anyway, I would say Persian food.
I'm Persian. I got you.
Nice. Wow,
I
that's a
love that
hard
you
one.
said that.
That's a hard one. I don't know. I guess salads.
Salad.
I need more salad for sure.
Need or want? I don't know. Which
Yeah, but I
don't
can
need
survive on it.
Mexican food, but that was going to be my answer.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, bucket list activity or destination?
Oh, definitely the Philippines. For the snorkeling.
Nice. Okay. Patty.
Destination, Lake Como, Italy.
Oh.
John.
For me, I just want to get back to Hawaii with my family. We haven't been in like 5 years since all this COVID stuff, and now I hear it's so packed, it's hard to go. I just want it to open up and go back. And I can't wait.
I love it. Jen.
I would go with Portugal.
I'd take a month on the beach in Costa Rica.
Mm.
Alaskan cruise.
That's a must do.
I would love to go to Prague.
I'd say the Bahamas.
Nice. Okay, Patty, aren't you going to Italy?
Yes, I'm leaving on the 6th to celebrate my 40th birthday in Lake Como, my first trip to Europe.
Nice.
Oh,
She's in her bucket
how
list. It's happening.
fun.
That's awesome. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Okay. Last
Yeah.
one, and you guys are doing great. We have 4 minutes. We will not need that long, but number 5, someone in your life you are thankful for right now.
My father.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love him too.
I have to go with both my daughters. They really keep me grounded.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my mother. She's always been my rock.
Mhm.
Love that.
Since I'm parenting 2 teenage boys, I'm gonna go with my husband for getting me through this.
I got
He's gonna watch
teenagers
this.
too.
He's gonna watch this, so that was a good answer.
Yeah. That's good.
So our life got a little bit different last week because there's now only 2 of us in the house. So I'll just say my wife. And seeing all the things that she's done all these years to raise those kids and support the whole family. And now we get this next journey together, just the 2 of us.
Wow.
Nice.
That's good.
Very fun.
I'm gonna go kind of cliche and say I am thankful to God, because without that, I couldn't put up with my family, my kids, the husband, my work, none of it. So my thanks go to God right now.
Awesome.
I'm really thankful for my husband right now.
That's awesome. I love it.
I would say my daughter, even though she's 14. We're entering those years.
She's a good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, she is. So I'd say my
Wow.
kiddo.
I love that.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I feel like I know all of you a little bit better. Hopefully you all feel like you know each other better when you see each other's names on different paperwork, when you see each other at our October 24th Fall Real Producers event. You'll feel like you can go up and chat and continue the conversation. Thanks for the industry information. Hopefully it was helpful to people that are watching or to you, and you have takeaways from today, and you go into the rest of your work day and work week just a little bit encouraged and feeling like you've got a community around you. So cheers to all of you, and we will see you later. Have a good rest of your day.
Katie, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Everybody.
Great.
Thank you,
Nice to meet
everyone.
everyone.
Have a great
Thank
day,
you.
guys.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.